So I am thinking, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, beautiful stars, I am not sure if you can hear me. I'm not sure what's going on. I really don't, other than I am very bright. So hey, Brandon, can you hear me, babe? I see you in the chat. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Thank you, B. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you. Oh my God. For me to be have to do to my own devices, it's not a thing, man. It's not a thing. That's why I've been so absent. Cool. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. So this is supposed to be Edgar Cayce because we have not talked to Edgar Cayce in like 3 weeks. There's been a lot of changes going on and a lot of things happening, and Wednesday at 2 o'clock is just not doable, I guess, right now. And clearly, I have no idea if my whole setup here was working or not, which I see I'm going to have to continue to work on lighting and all sorts of jazz. So thank you for being here because I had no idea if I don't even need this because I'm not hearing myself within myself. So there we go. At least I'll feel a little better without those on my ears. So, hello, beautiful stars. Good evening, good day, whenever you're catching this. And yes, clearly my lighting is crazy and everything else is kind of crazy. It's just what's happening right now in life. So, Brandon, I hope you're doing well, my dear. Um, and thank you because man, I would have missed something. And Chloe popped in. Thank you, my dear. I have been trying to figure out if people could even hear me. Oh, man. One of these days. One of these days. Oh, and speaking of that, for those who might not know, Lucky Stone 888, who I normally do a show with on Friday, our beloved Lucky, last night at work, he fell and well, he busted his stuff all open. So he's got, gosh, it looked like at least 20 or more stitches going over his eye here. His eye is all um bloody and nasty and well, black eye. I saw that this morning real quick because I go on Facebook just for business reasons, really, but he posted it. So then I spent all morning texting with Lucky as he was sitting in the ER. Um, he is okay. He's home now. I'm not going to tell all the details because that's Lucky if he wants to if he wants to do it, if he wants to talk about it. Friday, I have a feeling Friday, I will probably try to convince him not to record and just rest, and he'll try to convince me to record. And so we're going to see what happens. But please, yeah, send Lucky some love, prayers, light, all that jazz, because yeah, he hit it real hard. He's kind of This evening, he's kinda joking about it, but that might be the pain meds. So, we're gonna see how Lucky's doing, and I will keep you guys posted as well, because I talk to him on the regular, so but I wanted everybody to know that. Yeah, we can send him some love and light. I will say I am very bright. I am very bright. I don't know how to change all the stuff, but it's kind of a little, I'll figure it out eventually. Where we were with Edgar Cayce. You might see Sammy walking around in the background, I can tell. Like I said, we have not done an Edgar Cayce since around the New Year's. It's been like 3 weeks. I do want to also say, guys, it's not that I don't want to be here with you. I had two deaths in January that I needed to be present for. And then being present for that kind of puts me behind in other things. And I'm doing a big event in April that I kind of woke up like a week and a half ago and went, whoa, that's in 3 months. So I've just been busy. I've just been busy with a lot of things. So I was reading Chloe's response. Yeah, Chloe, if you must have seen some pictures of Lucky. I'm not gonna share his story, but yeah, he busted himself pretty bad. He did. We don't he doesn't know the full reasons why yet. I don't know the full reasons why yet. I will be conversing with Lucky to dig a little further. So, where we were in Edgar Cayce, which we are in. Oh, I'm getting used to the camera too, folks. Edgar Cayce, The Secrets of the Universe and How to Use Them. This very old book of mine from 1989. I thought that the chapter that we were in, which was chapter 6, I believe. Yeah, we were in chapter 6. I thought it was going to keep going. And so when I picked it up again today to kind of just look at where we were, it doesn't keep going. It pretty much ends the following page. I should have looked at that further last time. And so to just jog your memory, the last one around the new year, we talked about imagine if money was not enough, like there was no limit. You had no limit in any physical, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, no limits. And you were going to walk through your house right now and decide what you would keep and why you would keep it, and then go out and refurnish your house with the idea of having no limit. And it was a metaphor as to why we keep why we keep the things we keep. And it was going into the soul stuff, like your past life stuff. And the next chapter here, it's funny. The next two chapters, I read them quickly because they are very quick. They're only a couple of, 3, 4 pages. One is about universal law, which they don't even go into universal law, which was fascinating. They just said you need to know it. Like that helps anybody. And then the next was about karma, and which was also very short. I didn't read this book before I started this. I just didn't. I was like, cool, this looks like a good way to go. This book is starting to drive me crazy, by the way. It really is because there's not enough meat and potatoes. There's really not. There's not enough going on in it. So I'm going to do my best. Do know that we're going to now briefly read about how you need to know universal law and then briefly read about karma, which is not explained at all in this, not well at all. So I'm going to see how well I do with it because, well, I'm going to see. I'm going to see what goes on. I have fancy new glasses here. I'm going to read the last paragraph from where we were, and then I'm going to move on. The soul, a soul entangled in irreverence, is bound and suffers. A soul makes its suffering felt. The soul mind transmits its needs to the physical mind, but it has to make itself heard over the clatter of the subconscious mind. We can hear the soul crying in our loneliness. When we break free from the cares that bind us to this earth, we can hear the soul's laughter in our joy. That actually does go into kind of what Lucky and I at the tail end of what we were talking about on the past Friday, when we were doing the St. Francis prayer. The last line in that is, when we die, to some paraphrase it, when one dies, they receive eternal life. And I pose the question of, it doesn't mean mortal death. It could mean dying onto oneself, dying away from or dying off or away from the density of 3D, of all these concepts and cares and thoughts and habits and patterns and behaviors and all the words that that bind us and limit us from the density of 3D. The feeling that we need all this stuff, the feeling this, the feeling that, the all of that, we could, as spoken in the Bible, and that's where the prayer comes from. It was Saint Francis when Christ says to die unto me or to die unto the cross, and you will inherit eternal life. Well, you're already a beautiful, beautiful star, this eternal being, right? A beautiful soul being. So you're already eternal. But what prevents us from experiencing that in our waking life, in our day-to-day life, this beautiful magic of being an eternal being is all of the heaviness of 3D. So I posed that question last week with Lucky, and we'll probably get back to it at some point. But that's what they're referencing at this last line of this chapter. It's the very last line of the chapter before chapter 7. When we break free of the cares that bind us to this earth, we can hear the soul's laughter in our joy. And it's hard. It's to die on to the worry and the fear, to fully let it go, to fully let it go. And that's what St. Francis was talking about. That then you see that you are this beautiful eternal being and that we're here for service and love, right? Which he was very much, St. Francis was very much service and love. So I posed that question last week. We'll get back to it with Lucky. Oh, I see Lori came in. Good to see you, my dear. So we're into chapter 7. And like I said, this is only it's just a few pages. And she tried writing a poem in between it all. So there's not much said here. So I'll do my best with trying to explain things or whatnot. And it's chapter 7, Secrets of the Little Choo Choo. He got right up that hill. Many of us are huffing and puffing. I think I can, I think I can. Believing, like the little choo choo, that if we think we can, we can. We are told that if we put our minds to it, anything is possible. We are told to have faith in ourselves and believe in our abilities. It is called self-esteem. Several fallacies about self-esteem are loose in the world. It even is getting dangerous. One little girl I read about, I remember this was 1989 when she wrote this book. One little girl I read about whose mama told her she could do anything if she just put her mind to it, decided she wanted to fly. She jumped off the barn and broke her leg. This little girl decided her mama must have left something out, for surely she had set her mind to flying. She was wisely decided there must be more to it. But what is it? It's universal law. Cayce said, thoughts are things. So I do want to put that out there, folks. When you're listening to like tarot readers or you're listening to other people teaching or speaking or what have you, when they say thoughts are things, that came from Cayce. Just so you know, that came from Cayce. And I hear it all the time. I really do. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The Bible also says, ye cannot change one with by thought. Maybe we need to rethink both positions. There must be something in between. You can if you think you can, and wishing don't make it so. Maybe universal laws govern us and our thoughts, And if we could understand them, we'd find the middle road. If that road leads to accepting limitations, a very unpopular idea these days, maybe we would all be better off for it. I'm going to tell you guys. So then she tries to write a poem about this. So this was 1989, and a lot more has been said and done in today's world, right? I'm going to put it this way. And it's funny because I'll even use Akashic readings. I've done more readings for people who like to ask the same question, expecting different results every time. Or sometimes, I'm not going to say often, sometimes I get, "Hey, am I going to win the lottery?" So here's the thing about that. You guys remember that movie, Bruce Almighty? When he's at the computer and all the prayers are starting to come through the computer, and he's just like, "Yes, everybody gets their prayers. Everybody gets their prayers. Everybody gets their prayers." And then the whole world starts collapsing. That's such a funny part. Um, it is like that. So when when somebody asks me, "Am I going to win the lottery?" Well, of course I ask the Akashic, and they just go, "No." I mean, they might get like 5 grand later in life, but no, that's not what's going to happen with them. And everybody's usually disappointed when I say that, right? What is yours will come to you. What is yours is meant for you, right? That's a given. That's a given. We can manifest. It depends on the reason and the source for it. So the universe, for everybody that wants to win the lottery, just to win the lottery, the universe is not going to really do that, right? I mean, of course it has, but I'm talking about everybody, right? There is not going to be Bruce Almighty just saying yes, 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 yes. There is a When we go to manifest, your intentions need to be pure. We're thinking about other people involved, we're thinking about ourselves, we're thinking about how can this help everyone involved, right? And then the universal laws will come into play, right? It's when we start just thinking we can and we can do this, and it ends up not being that the universe is backing you. It ends up being that your ego is driving you. I hope I'm making this clear. So, can we be the little choo choo? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Yes. I want you to pause there though, because I'm going to present something different towards the end of this, as far as the little choo choo. Um, but that's what she's trying to say here, is that, you can't always get what you want, and maybe you shouldn't get what you want. I was raised with, that's the old Irish curse. You get what you're asking for, right? Um, That's why before we manifest, before we truly focus on what we want to manifest, we got to think about what is good for myself, my loved ones, everyone. How can this benefit everyone? So I'm putting that in there because she's not going to go into universal law that much. And there is what it is she's talking about the order of operations, the order. And I know I said I would be doing that in February. I still plan on doing it. There is order. That's the laws are within the order, but there's like, imagine that the order is the entire book. The order is the entire book, but each chapter has a different law to it. And there is order. There truly is. How I'm always trying to tell you guys, you can't take something away without replacing it with something else, because if we don't consciously choose what we're going to replace it with, It's good. Something else is gonna replace it for you. This is where we get the stories in the Bible of, you can clean your house as much as you want, you can get those 3 out of there, but 7 will come right back in its place, because we do not pay attention to the fact that we have the choice within the order. And so that's just like one of the examples as to what would be a chapter in the book of universal order, right? The laws are the topics, I guess you would say. I'm kind of rambling and I'm sorry guys cuz I am not a night person clearly. Uh, I'm just checking in with everybody. That's awesome, Chloe. Yes. She said, not think you can, know and believe it will be. Amen, sister. That's what I'm going to talk about at the very end. Because I'm, I'm going to present something just for you to ponder. And I do want to say, I love the fact you said know and believe, and it will be. That was Miss Chloe in the chat that said that. And I'm glad everybody is here. Um, oh, thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Lori. Um, in my older years now of a lot of study and practice, I really do understand that it does come down to belief in many a ways. It comes down to belief. And this is why, not just in the Bible, but so many scriptures, the masters would say, do you believe? That's how they would answer everything. Do you believe? Do you believe? Um, and it's sad to think that they would have to Christ would respond with, "Geez, if you only had a mustard seed." To think that that's how much 3D, density, heavy world, right, has us in disbelief. That's the sad part. That's the true sad part, because everything really does boil down to belief in a lot of ways. And once we can And in my other humble opinion, before I go on a rating, because I guess this is just somewhat of a rant because it's late at night. Um, for me personally, and working with others and learning, I have learned that first there has to become a foundation of trust. Trust with yourself, trust with another human, and trust with the divine. And when you got the three trinity of trust happening, that's when you can also start developing true belief. Not just the facade of belief, the true belief as Chloe was talking about, the knowing, right? Trust comes first, and so I'm hoping everybody's working on trust. This is a trust building year. Yay, 2024. Trust building year. Throwing that one out there. We'll get back to that hopefully on Friday. I'm hoping. I'm trying, folks. And Robert, I see you made it in. Hi, darling. So she wrote a kinda silly little poem to try to explain her thoughts there. So we're gonna go back to the choo-choo. If the little choo-choo had decided he wanted to be a Greyhound bus, he'd have he'd have been a it would have been a big problem or big trouble. The reason he got up that hill is because he stayed on track. So she wants to talk about your limitations. See, I'm kind of, um we'll just keep going. If you can conceive it, you can achieve it, is not universal law, it's media hype. The idea is extremely seductive, but false. It's Earth's fault. Only the so she does talk about the 3D. Only a distorted illusion of what the secret self, the true I, can conceive can be manifested into Earth. Our mental hospitals are filled with folks who disagree. Believe strongly enough that you are a bird and our society will put you in a cage. It sometimes has to do with the being able to know the difference between earth and mental and spiritual journeys in other versions. Explore in the previous chapters. We did talk about that then. But the universal laws govern every phase of existence, physical, mental, and spiritual. Otherwise, chaos would truly reign. So, her limitation aspect that she's talking about is if you if you say you're a bird, if you're trying to convince yourself you're a bird, you're most likely not going to become a bird. We're seeing a lot of this in today's world, right? Um, Once again, she said the only one that truly manifests here and makes it so is the secret soul, the soul self, right? And that goes back to what I was talking about. Most people want to manifest for the I, for the I, the I, the I, the me. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Am I going to win $1 million for me? Right? Most people, that is their thing. And the universe doesn't roll that way. So if you want to bring peace, harmony, and what's good for your tribe, your people, your community, your household, then that's a different story, right? But if you say you're a bird, you're not going to turn into a bird. That's probably not going to happen here. Some thoughts are messages from the secret self. Some thoughts, being things, are like bolts out of the blue, profoundly insightful, meriting congratulations with much all around. Other thoughts are like seeds, broadcast through bird droppings. It is evidence of love of a loving higher intelligence that all seeds that drop from passing birds don't take root, as do all thoughts. It would be rather horrible, I suspect, in our present state of development if we could actually manifest solely by thought, with no concern for the outcome except our own interest. Exactly what I was just talking about. It would be nice if we could visualize someone's insides and rearrange their chromosomes, healing them as the master did, but is that all we would do? Some days it's truly grace that I couldn't command water into wine. So she's kind of being cheeky here. She's saying that thing of like, imagine if we could all be masters right now, just right now in the world. And she wrote this in 89. Right now, still though. And she was kind of being cheeky there, like, I'm actually happy a lot of days that I can't turn water into wine because I probably end up being a drunk, right? Isn't it a good thing that we're not like the masters that can completely get inside somebody's cells, magically, and then all of a sudden heal them? Because if we had that power, what else would we do with it? Could we would kill them, right? We could do so. So that's what they're talking about here is that the laws are limiting us some because we're not connected fully to our soul self yet and to one another and see how everything works. And we still are thinking so much about ourselves, right? And I love how she put that too. Some days it's truly grace that I couldn't command water into wine. That is the grace. That is like grace because the universe knows better than us, right? When we first get an idea, a thought, often we don't know for sure if it's a message from the secret self, a bolt from the blue, or seeds from a bird. Thoughts and ideas must be measured against our understanding of universal law. Ask where the thoughts and ideas are coming from. If they are coming from within, fine. But look out for passing birds. What she is also referencing here, because she talked a lot about the media influence, that's what she's kind of talking about the bird droppings. Like some of the stuff out here on the YouTube world is good, some of the stuff in the world is great. but not all of the stuff that falls on everybody's ears and thoughts is good and healthy, right? Check where your influences are coming from. True self esteem comes when we stop feeling like failures because we did not do something that was never possible in the first place. In this life, I am not going to be a size 6, blue eyed ballet dancer, no matter how badly I want it. And this life is the one that counts. Media would drown us in bird droppings if we let it. Study universal law. There we are truly free. It's our spiritual heritage. That was the whole chapter, folks. That's what threw me off about it because I was expecting her to go into universal law. She never did. And I will tell you, the next chapter is even shorter. It's about karma. So when I read that, when I looked at it today, I went, oh, wow. Okay. Interesting that I'm supposed to be starting the law or the order, the laws of the order in February. So it is coming, folks. And I am going to try to figure out my computer. When she said, when she was talking about that, it could be the soul is trying to nudge you. Those thoughts of inspiration could be your soul nudging you. Or it could be subliminal messages like bird droppings, right? Everywhere with the media. Or she gave another example. Either way, she was saying check where your ideas are coming from. And I say the same thing. Is it from what everybody likes to refer to as your heart centered, right? Is it from the heart or is it from that ego based? Is it from fear or is it of love? And some great ideas come out of fear, right? That saying that necessity is the best creator of inventions, or I don't remember the cliche or the saying, but that's because of fear. Like we have a necessity, we have a lack, we need to solve this problem. And then, whoa, comes this great mechanics, this great idea, this great, wonderful thing, this great solution. So it can be based out of fear, but if the solution is for everyone, then we're in the good. We're in the good, right? It's when it's based out of fear and it only serves me. It only serves the one. That's where things get a little tricky. And we live in a society that lately I've seen more and more and more of that. So when we are judging, right? Because we're discerning our own mind, the mind will play so many tricks. The mind is going to tell you, you can't. The mind is going to tell you you're not worthy. The mind is going to tell you a whole lot of things. The mind is going to tell you a lot of stuff. That does not mean that that's what your soul says. So I want to talk briefly, and I have no idea how long I've been talking. Maybe we'll go into the karma one. But that little choo-choo that could. The little choo-choo that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. That's a wonderful story. What, and I'm just posing a question here, a thought. And this comes from somewhere within me in a meditation from a long time ago. Actually, a series of meditations from a long time ago. Why don't I just tell you the meditations? They'll draw the picture a little bit better. So back when this was years ago, I was still in Illinois. Actually, this was probably 2000, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there. I would go to this Wednesday night meditation group and the meditations were lovely. And then we maybe share afterwards, right? A bit of what we experienced, what we saw. And it would be a meditation of like, you're going down a flight of stairs, and then into a beautiful garden. And in this garden could be many a different things. But usually a being would come and speak with you. And at the time I was very, very Christian, and Christ would come and talk to me. And I remember one of the first ones, there was a mountain in the distance, and he would just point to the mountain. I mean, don't know where my camera is. He would just point to the mountain. And I'd be like, I gotta go there. I gotta go there. Like, what? This garden's very nice. I have to leave the garden and do that. And he would just be like, there'd be no words even. He would just be like, mm-hmm. And then there was a meditation a little bit after that, that he pointed at the mountain and then he handed me hiking boots. Like, you better start moving, sister. I kid you not. So then in meditations, then I would actually, I built my way into like, okay, I'm not in the garden anymore. I put my boots on. Now I'm walking through the long field to the mountain. And then there was one, I'm at the base of the mountain. I'm at the base of the mountain in this meditation. And then Christ actually started talking to me. And I said, "That's like Mount Everest, it looks like. I can't climb." Like, I'm thinking, "I can climb that only if I'm with you. I don't know how to climb this. Are you coming with me?" Blah, 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 blah. I'm, like, kind of freaking out in this meditation. And I kid you not, folks, he turned to me and he said, "Do you believe?" And I said, "I don't even know what this mountain is supposed to represent." The world talks about the struggles of life. You gotta climb the mountain, you gotta get over the mountain, you gotta do all the stuff with a mountain. And I said, I'm not even sure what all that mountain represents to me. And he said, Do you believe? I said, I believe in you. I don't know if I believe in me. Like, I don't know what's going on here. That's a pretty big ass mountain. I know you gave me the boots. So I'm thinking I can do it, but I'm not positive, right? So we had that talk a little bit back and forth, a few meditations. And then I went into a meditation, not in that group. And I didn't even know this was going to happen. It was a completely like different kind of guided meditation. And all of a sudden, I'm at the base of this mountain again. And Christ showed up again. And he said, Courtney, do you have faith of a mustard seed? And I said, well, yeah, I definitely do. And he said, so you believe? I said, yes. And he said, "Well, then let me show you what it's really about." He said, "Do you believe?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Woof, there was no mountain." And I just looked at him. I said, "You just got rid of the mountain." And he said, "Courtney, when you believe there's a mountain, there's a mountain. When you believe there's no mountain, there's no mountain. So if you want to struggle and have to climb this mountain, then keep believing that. But if you don't want a mountain, Courtney, believe there's no mountain." And that is when I started studying more about belief and the power of belief. And that is what I truly know now. I mean, that was like I said, I mean, that had been, well, I was married and I got married in 2010. So it was probably 2011, 2012, maybe. Um, that is how much belief, and I think I can, is the complete difference, is the massive difference. If you When we really, really, truly believe that I am this beautiful star, eternal being that is here to serve others, and I am of love and light, I give and I receive, I release and attract. I know how the energies work. I believe in myself. I believe in others. I believe in God. Believe, believe, believe. There is no mountain. And that's the difference. And that's what 3D will do. It will present many illusions, many, many illusions. And I'll want to tell you, because it's profitable to 3D, to tell you that the struggle that you have to struggle, that you have to struggle, that you have to this, that you have to that, that you have to this. When in reality, this is why all the masters would ask, all of them, truly, all of the masters would always say, "Do you believe? Do you believe?" And that's the difference, is that we're still programmed to say we believe, but not really trust it. So therefore, we don't believe. To say we believe, to maybe just put things under the rug, right? True belief. There is no mountain. And that's how he would do, that particular master would do all those things that he would do. He would just believe and it would so be. And so it's interesting that, you know, she talks about this little engine that could, in that way of, when we think that way, I think I can, the universe might not give it to you because of limitations, and we all shouldn't get exactly what we want anyways. But true belief has a whole lot of components to it that you do then start manifesting. You do then start receiving in grace. So I just wanted to throw that out there and see if it would spark some conversation with y'all. And that was my experience. That was my experience. That is what I also know for me to be very true of the power of belief. It's extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. So I don't know if I want to get into this at 8 o'clock at night. So the next chapter, so you guys know, is supposedly about karma, but it's literally just it's not even 2 pages. It's not even 2 pages. So I don't know um what all I'm gonna have to fill into it. I don't know why they, like I said, this book, I think this poor woman, because I will tell you by chapter 9, it's the secrets of inner fires and fears. She starts chapter 9 talking about her fear of writing this book. And so that explains to me how this book is written the way it is, to tell you the truth. So I think next time we are going to do the karma one, because yeah, I'm going to do that next time. Lovely beans. Send our prayers to Lucky for great healing. Our lovely Lucky hurt himself pretty bad last night at work. So let's send him some beautiful love and light. Thank you, everybody that came. I think I see Beloved in there. Good to see you, Beloved. Seeker, good to see you, my dear. I really was trying to hop on and see if the mechanics were working, and so I clearly have to work on how bright I am. That's gonna be obnoxious. But thank you all for coming, and I am gonna try to get videos out, guys. I clearly clearly. Yeah, I got things to do. So, I appreciate you all, and I did not notice that my husband's picture of me laying there. Oh, that's a drawing, by the way, that he did years ago, many moons ago. I will move that. I didn't realize that was in the screen. Yeah, that's a charcoal picture of me that my husband did a long time ago. So, a little seductively though. So that's that. I'll move that. Thanks guys for coming. Um I love you all so dearly. Have a good night. I'm glad that you guys popped in, especially Brandon at the beginning. I would have been freaking out because I couldn't hear me in the mic. So, thank you all so much. Have a great week. I am going to try to be here Friday morning, and I don't know about Lucky and I. Like I said, he is probably going to argue with me about we do need to record, and I'm probably going to try to argue with him about getting rest. So we'll probably end up recording. I know how lucky rolls. So I will keep moving on. Oh, that's so funny. Brandon said, why move the picture? Aw. Thanks. Oh, oh. I will talk to you guys later. Cheers. Thank you for coming. I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.